Hello there, and welcome to another episode of the Cannabis Man Podcast. Thanks for clicking on the show. I'm your host, Don Kleppen, and I wanted to get this episode out to you as quickly as I could. It's going to be on the shorter side, just a heads up, listener, but it's because an interview came together rather quickly yesterday. I recorded that on March 18th. I'm recording this now, March 19th, because there's an event coming up on the south side of Chicago later this week, Thursday, the 23rd, and it's kind of a unique sounding event. It was put together by a local artist and cannabis professional named Blac. He's from the Bronzeville area, and he's been working alongside cannabis professionals, and he's been building his own career as an artist for the last few years. And now he's putting on this experience later this week that's kind of a concert alongside a cannabis party. And it sounds like there's going to be some great vibes there, and there are still some tickets available, not many, but I wanted to get this out to you as soon as possible so that if you're interested in this like I am, you'd have a chance to go grab some of those tickets while there's still some left. I do have some news joint stories to get to you as well, and another topic that I thought was worth your attention. But yeah, let's get into this 43rd episode of the Cannabis Man Podcast. Yeah, and let's roll on, listener, into the News Joint Wrap. That's right, this is the section of the show every week, if it's your first time listening, where I gather local news stories and events coming up around Illinois related to cannabis, and it's all curated by IllinoisNewsJoint.com. Think of it as the joint you can hit for all your Illinois cannabis news and reviews. And let's start with two Illinois bills that are targeting cannabis funds. These are two House bills, and they offer drastically different targets for cannabis funds. HB 1189 offers the excess money from the Compassionate Use of Medical Cannabis Fund to medical patients. Meanwhile, SB 1969 would increase the percentage of money from the Cannabis Regulation Fund and redirect that money to a fund under the control of the sheriff. HB 1189, sponsored by friend of the show, Representative Bob Morgan, it will amend the Compassionate Use of Medical Cannabis Program Act and would refund money back to registered medical cannabis patients in Illinois. The bill provides that if there is an amount in excess of $12,500,000 in the Compassionate Use of Medical Cannabis Fund on the effective date of the amendatory act, the state treasurer shall so certify to the Department of Public Health and the state controller, and the Department of Public Health shall certify to the controller the names and addresses as well as any other necessary information of all medical cannabis patients who made any medical cannabis product purchase in the 180-day period preceding the effective date of the amendatory act. The bill was moved to the Rules Committee on January 3rd. Meanwhile, SB 1969, sponsored by Senator Steve McClure, amends the State Finance Act. That bill, quote, increases the percentage of monies that are transferred from the Cannabis Regulation Fund to the Local Government Distributive Fund, provides that money allocated to counties under those provisions shall be directed to a fund under the control of the sheriff. This bill was referred to assignment February 9th. You can find more information about those at IllinoisNewsJoint.com. So those are two bills currently moving through the Illinois legislature, and both of them have very different approaches as to what to do with some excess funds that may or may not be existing in Illinois' medical cannabis program right now. And I know which way my vote would go if anybody were asking me. That would be to the House bill that returns money to Illinois medical cannabis patients. I would love to see some of that happen. Moving on, Cannabis is set to open its first dispensary in Illinois this spring. Cannabis, that would be TERRABIS, is set to open its newest retail location in Grayville, Illinois. The new dispensary will be near 64 at exit 130 on Kohler Road. Full building remodeling has begun and will include new exterior finishes, an expansive and welcoming lobby, multiple checkout stations, and prospective plans for an on-site consumption lounge in the future. Love that. The adult use dispensary expects to bring 30 to 40 jobs to the local community. Founder Dan Ambrosino, who currently lives in Chicago, says Cannabis started as an an idea shared among friends and has now become one of the Midwest's leading retailers of medical and recreational cannabis products. Cannabis is a privately held multi-state cannabis operator headquartered in Missouri, where they have 5 existing dispensary locations and a product manufacturing facility. So get excited for some more competition in the legal cannabis industry entering the Illinois space. That would be Cannabis. And if you're in the Grayville, Illinois area, something to keep an eye out for in the future. Very exciting stuff. And if you're interested in either one of those 2 stories, and of course more about news regarding cannabis or events coming up around Illinois, just head to IllinoisNewsJoint.com. Oh, and speaking of new cannabis operations, have you started your home grow cannabis operation yet? If you haven't, let me tell you, one of the quickest ways to ruin that harvest is by using subpar genetic material. So if you're thinking about starting a home grow and you want the highest quality genetics for your seeds to start with, as you should, because it's going to make your job easier, let me introduce you to my friends at Deep Space Creations, LLC. Matt Ross started the company years ago after growing his own cannabis for years, learning some lessons and finding out firsthand just how important high-quality genetics are. And he decided to start an operation where he'd be able to supply some of the best quality seeds to those looking. If you've heard of or tried the strain Chem de la Chem, you are already familiar with the excellent quality of Matt Ross's work at Deep Space Creations, and they have many more in their stock just like that. You can head on over to Neptune Seed Bank or Alpha Seed Bank, and you can search for Deep Space Creations, LLC, or you can find Matt Ross and the guys on Instagram at deepspacecreations_LLC, and there's a link right in their profile to take you to Neptune Seed Bank, and you can get some of those seeds right there. But if you're going to start a home grow, you've got to start with high-quality genetics, and there's no higher quality genetics in cannabis seeds than what they've got over at Deep Space Creations. Listener, welcome back. My guest today is a cannabis entrepreneur of sorts. He definitely works heavily in the cannabis industry around Chicago, and he plays a few different roles, has a couple of different hats. He was born on Chicago's west side. He moved at some point to the Bronzeville neighborhood and took the name Metro Blac as a tribute to his upbringing in Bronzeville. He's a cannabis professional as a wholesale account exec in the Illinois legal cannabis market for over 3 years, which has allowed him to live and work in his passions of cannabis while honoring his passion for music, performing, and event planning. And he's here today to talk a little about one of those events that are coming up next week, actually, or later this week, I suppose, when this gets published. But this would be the Metro Blac Experience, which is coming to the Promontory March 23rd and running from 7 p.m. to 1 a.m. And we're going to get some more details about this very exciting event right now from the man himself, Metro Blac. Welcome, Metro.
Hey, Don. I'm happy to be here with you, my friend.
Thank you so much for stopping by. Really appreciate it. And I'm very much looking forward to finding out about this experience. Now, I just want to make sure I had that introduction right. You were born on the west side and you've now moved to Bronzeville, and that's kind of where you came up with the Metro Blac moniker?
Yes. So still actually live in Bronzeville, and it was an area known as the Black Metropolis, and way back in the 50s, 60s in that time, and even before that. But that's where I got my name from. I just switched the order, and I took the K off of Blac.
Right on. Yeah, the Blac is BLAC for anybody interested. And I'm wondering, so this event, this experience, the Metro Blac Experience coming up at the Promontory later this week, how did you, it says there, as I mentioned in the intro, you've been in the legal cannabis industry on the wholesale side of it for a while, but you then sort of got into this event planning and making these experiences, working with bud tenders, working with dispensaries, and it really sounds like you're kind of putting together these cool parties where a lot of different people from a lot of different industries and related to cannabis are coming together. Is that
coming together to mix it up? Definitely.
Yeah.
You're definitely right.
Yeah, for sure.
The events planning and just entertaining and music came before working in cannabis, but once I got into the industry and I saw like a need for people in the community who understand the community to be able to commune together, but not only commune together, not just indulge and get zonked out, but indulge and vibe and network and build and see some cool things and experience some cool things at an elevated level.
Yeah, and it sounds like that is that's exactly what's awaiting people at this particular event. Now, I just gonna go through a couple of the details. It's billed as a concert experience coming to the promontory, and what's mentioned is live performances as well as this travel agent vape bar. Can you talk a little about the performance and then sort of the vape bar, the travel agent? What kind of products are going to be there for people to try?
So the performance, I am opening up for Rome Streets and special guest Stove God Cooks at the Promontory. The Promontory is a very, very, very well known hip hop venue in the South Side of Chicago. It's just known for bringing acts to the area that you would just be happy to see. Oh, I can walk to the Promontory and wait, is that Rome Street? Is that Stove God Cooks? Is that Metro Blac? And I figured I would build my own experience in being able to support these major artists. So in doing that, the Metro Blac experience encompasses me performing on stage and a travel agent vape bar that I'm hosting. There will be 3 signature cocktails with terpenes spelled out as to the flavors you'd be able to taste on the balcony of the Promontory during the time of show.
Wow, that sounds really awesome. Okay, so there's a balcony at this venue. Promontory sounds awesome on the south side of Chicago. There's going to be a concert going on with you, Metro Blac, as well as Rome Streets, and as you mentioned, Stove God Cooks as well, which is awesome. And then cocktails, you mentioned, there are terpene profiles, so are these cannabis drinks?
No. The vape bar, have you ever heard of the Zenko machine?
Yes. Yeah. Those are they're like the glass cups like a glass cup that fills up with like vape from the bottom, right?
Yes. Odorless vape bar. So, there'll be bartenders, aka bud tenders there to guide people through the process of getting that Zenko demo, seeing how they work. We're also going to have Zenkos available for sale at the event with a discount with your purchase of tickets.
Oh, that is awesome. Let me say, because I have tried some of these Zenkos before. I didn't know that was the name of them, but I love the glass sort of like it's like a sculpture, and you can watch the vape kind of form at the bottom. So there's an anticipatory experience too, kind of like when you watch a bartender make a good cocktail and you're just sitting there thinking about how good it's going to be as you watch it come together. It's really cool to watch these glass fixtures fill up with sort of vape at the bottom. And I've seen people either just kind of, throw them back, I guess, like a shot. I've seen people kind of use straws, like plastic or paper straws, to kind of get the vape out of the glass. But it's really, the places I've gone, they weren't selling these Zenkos. They were just there to sample. You guys are actually selling these at the Promontory.
So because of my affiliation with Zenko and travel agent, the travel agent is like the coolest thing. They do the coolest thing with the bars. They're always themed. They're always a fun time. They're always an experience. Mm-hmm. So I'm very excited to work with them. But because of my relationship with Zenko, I asked them if for the less the cost of the general admission ticket, which is $35, could I sell Zenkos at the rate of $215? So if you bought a ticket to the show, you get $35 off that Zenko unit, and you can go home with it on that day for $215.
Got it. Okay, that makes perfect sense. Thank you very much for clearing that up. So it's basically like you buy a ticket to this event, and you go out, you have a wonderful time at the Promontory, you listen to a great concert, you're picking up on the vibe, you're trying these different cannabis products, and if you're really in love with these Zenko vaporizer, sort of glasses, these glass vapes kind of things, like I have been, you get a discount. You can buy a Zenko at the venue, and your ticket price gets discounted off the Zenko price. Is that fair?
That is fair, sir. That is fair.
That sounds awesome. That sounds very exciting. I can't wait to check this out. It looks like there, in addition to the Zenko, a purchase of a ticket to the show, there are some other packages here that it looks like there are some other goodies people can get.
So the overall Metro Blac experience. So if you are to go to the link that you will find on my Instagram at TheMetroBlac, that's the Metro Blac on Instagram, you'll find a link that you can hit, and it'll go to a group of tickets. There's a platinum level, a gold level, and a sage level. The sage level gets you a 420 goodie gift and a promo t-shirt inside of a Metro Blac tote bag. That's at the Sage level. The gold level gets you the same Metro Blac tote bag, promo tee, 420 goodies, but a Blac card. That's a no line, no limit at the Zenco station, because there is a limit. We don't want to over consume. We don't want to have people over consume. But I know people who are in tune with me and how my events come off might want to go back. And if you do this, that would be a good package for you. But if you are looking to take home a Zenco Duo on the day of the show, you would want to get the platinum package. You'll get everything you get in the Sage and the gold. You'll get that special Blac card, no line, no limit at the Zenco station over at the vape bar. But you'll also take home that Zenco Duo for a flat rate of $200 if you purchase that ticket before the show.
Wow, that is fantastic. And I got to say, it's, as you mentioned in the email invite here, obviously space is limited at this event, and I have to imagine that by this point, you guys have sold a good amount of tickets, so I know that space is filling up. So, listener, go ahead and, as Metro just mentioned, you can find that link at your Instagram page. What was the address one more time, Metro?
The address to the venue is 5311 South Lake Park Avenue. That's in Chicago, Illinois.
Perfect. That's fantastic. And so is there, just out of curiosity, is there a link that people can buy tickets at for the show through your Instagram page?
Yes, there is. You will find that link in my bio. You will also find that link in the travel agent Instagram bio. Their Instagram is at TRV Agent.
TRV Agent. Okay, cool. So those are two options for you, listener, to go right now and grab some tickets here. And you have a couple of different price points. You got a couple of different packages to choose from. But I got to say, for my money, it sounds like that platinum experience is fantastic. To walk away with one of those Zenco Duos, I think, would make any event worth it. But this one sounds like it's going to be an amazing vibe on the south side of Chicago. Hopefully a nice spring night at the Promontory on a balcony.
It looks like 59 degrees.
Yeah, exactly. Which, I don't know where you're listening from, listener, but let me tell you, 59 degrees in March in Chicago is celebration worthy. Let me tell you.
Yeah, somebody's going to be in shorts.
Yes, 100%. It might be me, because it's been feeling like that. This weekend when we're recording this, it's the last gasp of winter. It's about, 5 degrees outside right now. So 59 sounds tropical to me, and a balcony and a concert happening with some sweet vapes and some cool people around sounds like a great way to spend an evening. So this is March 23rd, Thursday, and it starts at 7 o'clock. And again, it's at the Promontory, and this is all put together by Metro Blac, who you've been hearing from.
In conjunction with Covert Ops. Covert Ops puts on these great shows around the world, and they've allowed me to bring this experience as an opportunity to see if we can take it to other places around the world. So please do come out and be a part of a first-time experience in a very well-known venue.
That's awesome. All right, so you got your marching orders, listener, and Metro, thank you so much for stopping by today and kind of sharing a little bit about what this event is and kind of who you are and what people can expect at these things. I like to wrap these up with just some quick hits, if you don't mind. I like to ask your favorite, movies and music and stuff like that. I got about 5 of them. Are you game for this?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, great. First quick hit I ask is morning bird or night owl? Which are you?
I am an all-day guy, and my wife will attest to that. I wake up at 4:44 every day, and I can go until 2 if you need me to and still wake up at the same time.
4:44 every day, 4:44.
Yes,
Man, I got up at 3:45 this morning because I do morning radio on some Chicago station, and my shift starts at like 5 or something. I could not imagine doing that.
Man.
I couldn't do that every day. It is. I can only do it like the once a week, and I sleep for like a day afterward.
Yo, Don, I actually interned in radio for about a year and a half, and I was on the morning show, so I think that's partly where it comes from. I was getting up at 4. Yeah,
right on.
I was on the morning drive, dude. So like being on the morning drive, like getting there at 4 is in place to get the DJs ready.
Exactly. No, so you were getting up at like 2:30, 3 o'clock like I was doing that thing.
Yes.
Man, that is, dude, right on. All right, cool. Hey, a fellow radio guy. I love it. That's awesome, man. Next quick hit. What do you like to eat? If it's whether a cuisine or a restaurant you like to go to, if you're celebrating something, the Metro Blac experience at the Promontory was wildly successful, and on Friday night you're going to go celebrate. Where are you going to go?
My mom's mac and cheese, baked mac and cheese. It's like that's the go-to.
Oh man, that sounds
we
so
celebrating
good.
a win. It's mom's baked mac and cheese.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. If you got a good option at mom's house, that's always a win in my book. All right, substance of choice. I ask all my guests this. Cannabis is obviously big for both of us, but do you lean on coffee in the morning? Are you a tea drinker? You like wine or beers late at night? What do you lean on?
I love tea. My favorite tea comes from Steep Leaf Teas. I love their watermelon mojito. It's amazing.
Nice. Steep leaf tea. All right.
Yes.
Watermelon.
You can find them on Instagram as well. Steep Leaf.
Number 4, quick hit. What do you like to watch? Like TVs, movies? And if it's something you love that anytime you see it on TV, you'll leave it on, or that if you're looking to feel a certain way, anytime you put this on, it'll get you there. What do you like to watch?
Ooh, that's a toughie. Oh, man. What am I watching right now that is hitting me? Okay, The Last of Us is giving me vibes right now.
Yup.
It's giving me bad vibes right now.
Yep. It's the best. It's the best thing on TV.
I'm a fan of some other things, but we're not far enough in their seasons yet for me to say that. The Last of Us, it's got me thinking about. It's made me work harder to be in shape. I'll tell you that.
Right on, dude. Right on. Yeah, doesn't it? Yeah, it's just.
I'm like, how many people could really run 3-5 miles to get their food if they had to?
Not many. I'll tell you what, man. There's a lot of people in Chicago that, as much as we love food in this town, they're not making that trip if push comes to shove. That's the truth.
Yeah, if they got to do it by foot, it's not happening. Yeah, so The Last of Us has really put a few things in perspective for me.
That's a great drop. I love The Last of Us. Listener, it just finished up. If you haven't watched it, HBO, it is fantastic. Play the games too if you're a gamer. The story's amazing, so it's worth your time. And then
that's where my love for the show comes from. The game.
You played the games too, Metro?
Yes.
Dude, right on, man. I love this. I just played the first one again before the season came out just to refresh the story, and
didn't they do a great job, man?
It was amazing.
That intro, like the beginning, like how they got into the storyline. They did a great job.
Yeah, they did. The stuff that they added that wasn't in the game, but kind of helped build up the world a little bit, like that pilot episode where they're having the talk show and the scientist when she went to Indonesia to find the source of the infection. That stuff was awesome, and then
that was amazing.
Yeah. They showed they built the world up. They added to what the games did. It was wonderful. And then final quick hit question for you, Metro. Let's go sports team. What do you? Are you a football guy? Do you like baseball? What is a team that if it's NCAA right now, March Madness happening? Who do you watch and who do you like to support?
So listen, we're in a day and age where it's really hard to support a team because everybody's going to get their money, and I don't blame them. You should.
Yeah.
But if LeBron James is on, nothing else matters.
I get that, and that's a great point, Metro. I'm glad you said that. I've talked with people about LeBron, even on this show too, and I gotta say, I remember watching MJ. I'm old enough to have been able to see him when I was a kid, and that was amazing. But LeBron, there's something weird with the media where LeBron this year passed Alcindor. Was it Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? He passed Kareem's scoring record, and it was like nobody even made a big deal about it. It was like over in a week.
They make everything casual for him. Everything's casual. It's got to. It's just not that big a deal. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I kind of noticed that myself this year for the first time because, like I said, I admittedly I haven't paid too close attention.
He gets a lot of press, man. He gets a lot of press, and understandable. Like you get sick of seeing it. Like it's the same thing with Tom Brady. Like if you're not a Tom Brady guy, you like, why do I always gotta hear about Tom Brady?
Yep.
Totally.
Yeah,
but like after this, when everybody downplays, I'm like, now do you see? Like it's not fair. But when you're great, they hold you to a certain criteria. I get it.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I think once you show how great you are, it's just you're measured differently. You're on a different stratosphere, and LeBron certainly is. And more power to the guy. The guy he's the all-time leading scorer in NBA history right now. He's got that record will probably stand forever. And now he's just holding out to play with his son to be the only person to ever do that.
100%. And for me, he's a lesson he's a lesson in how to use your opportunity to make sure others get theirs.
Well said. Absolutely. The work that he's done with the school, I think his film production company, he's done so much work to give people opportunities and to bring, contents and just experiences, I think, to people, elevate people's lives in different ways. Yeah. It's unbelievable. It really is.
Yeah. That's definitely why that would be the answer to number 5.
Well, hey, that's a good answer and a good time. It sounds like is going to be had by everybody at the Promontory on Thursday, the 23rd at the Metro Blac Experience. Thank you so much, Metro, for
Yo,
for
Don, I
by.
got a ticket for you too, bro. So definitely, we got to get into them. So
dude,
I gotta have you there, dude.
You got it. I'll be there. Thank you so much, my man. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you at the show. And there you have it, listener. One more time, if you're interested in getting some tickets to the Metro Blac Experience at the Promontory on March 23rd, still a few of those left. Just head on over to Instagram and check out Metro's page. You can find him at the Metro Blac, and there's a link to buy some of those tickets in his profile. As he mentioned, you can also go to TRV Agent on Instagram, and there's a link there as well to get some of those tickets. But they are going fast, and I'm very much looking forward to this event, so I hope to see you there. One final note before I let you go this week, listener. There was an article that came out March 16th here, and it was after a Kansas committee hearing. Republicans put a medical cannabis bill on hold, and the quote out of this hearing is, "Don't Colorado our Kansas." The article was published at ksnt.com by Rebecca Chung on March 16th. The headline, I won't read the whole thing, but it starts with, "Kansas lawmakers have put a hold on a medical marijuana bill after hearings wrapped Thursday morning. Republicans in the Senate Federal and State Affairs Committee voted to table Senate Bill 135. Both Democrats on the committee voted against the move." One of the quotes here from Senator Alicia Straub of Ellenwood, she's a Republican. One of the things that stuck out, she goes, quote, "And concerning the testimony, especially that we heard today, I feel like we really need to protect our children, and I don't believe that we're ready to work this today," end quote. The move means that no further discussion or action will be taken for the year. Lawmakers in the committee could potentially decide to bring the bill back up to work on this year, but for now, it will not progress unless further action is taken. This comes after lawmakers wrapped up 2 back-to-back hearings on the bill. The testimony even caused one Republican senator to change their tune. That would be Senator Rick Cluse of Barryton. He says, quote, "Today, I am no longer a proponent. I am an opponent. The reason is that because of the knowledge and all that we've been given, I did not know the effects of what this medicinal marijuana could have on an individual," end quote. Senators heard from opponents on Thursday. This include law enforcement officers, health officials, and Republican state leaders. Does this sound like a DARE education meeting to anybody else? Some believe there could be issues with mental health and addiction that come from use of marijuana. Others point to potential issues with law enforcement and, quote, the black market. One final quote that I'll read here that stuck out to me, listener, is from Tony Mativi, I believe, director of the Kansas Bureau of Investigation, obviously an agent here. He spoke about, as the article notes here, he spoke about the impact this could have on children's mental health, citing studies from another opponent of medical cannabis, Dr. Eric Voth. And this is a quote from Mativi here. "The thing that he sent me that was the most persuasive was a study that showed the link between increased THC use in our adolescence and mental illness." Mativi said, quote, "If there's one thing that I think we can all agree on is that we don't want to facilitate access by our kids to something that is going to adversely impact their mental health." And that's the end of the quote, and that's all I'm going to read from the article. But the reason that I thought this was worth bringing to your attention is because Kansas just tabled a bill to allow medical cannabis in their state. And they did so because of these studies that are showing links between high THC products and development of mental illness or some symptoms like psychosis and some of these things that we've talked about on the show. High THC is really presenting some problems here for legal cannabis. And this is something that we are going to have to suss out. But this This stuff isn't happening in a vacuum. These studies that are being done, like the one that I talked with Matt Wall about, that talks about, some of the issues that THC has, what's buried in these discussions is that CBD offers a perfectly safe shield against the problems that THC can cause. And I would also point out that if these companies that are legally allowed to sell cannabis, if these companies weren't allowed to inflate the THC percentages of their products, whether the THC is actually 35% or it's just labeled at 35%, that's a question in and of itself. But another thing here is that companies are being incentivized to create high THC products. Why are they being incentivized? How are they? Because they can charge premiums for high THC products. I've talked about this on the show before. It's not a hard concept to understand. You don't have to make that much of a leap to get that when a company sees they can charge more for a high THC product, they're going to invest in selling and making high THC products. And now we see these studies where they're like, well, hey, guess what? High THC products can be problematic, especially if it's consumed by adolescents. And repeatedly, there are proven links now between some mental illnesses and high THC products. This is a problem. But it's a problem with a clear solution. And the solution is, let's get away from these high THC isolates and let's keep the healthy protective CBD as a part of our cannabis products. That is what I say is the answer to this problem. And denying the citizens of Kansas access to medical cannabis does not seem to me like an acceptable solution, because won't somebody please think of the children? This is just kind of another one of those. We see now, again, I've talked about this on the show, listener. If it's your first time, definitely go back and check out some old episodes. But I have said many, many times here, the stigma around reefer madness, the stigma of the 1900s and the prohibition of cannabis and the first drug czar and the first FBI and all the racism and fear-mongering and all that propaganda that's wrapped up in reefer madness, that stigma is still alive and well today. And you can see live in real time these actions that these Republicans are taking, and they're using these figures. They're using these studies that are looking into what cannabis can do and what it shouldn't do and all that. The conclusion to finding out that high THC is dangerous is not to just table a bill that would allow medical cannabis. The solution is to say, okay, we're not going to allow high THC products in our state. It's going to be CBD alongside of it, or it's going to be low THC, that you cap it at 10% so that you know that there's still some CBD in those products. So I just wanted to point this out because we're going to be seeing more of this, and it's not just Kansas that is going to start bringing up these studies that are showing the links between high THC and mental illnesses. This is something we're going to be hearing more of over the next few years as the opponents of this legalization movement try and find ammo for their counterattacks of the momentum that we feel, all of us, proponents of legal cannabis, the momentum that we all feel they are still fighting to live in the world of the last century. And I am just tired of that myself. But that's what I wanted to share with you, and something to keep an eye out for. I guess there's no medical cannabis coming for Kansas anytime soon. Just another reason I'm so thrilled to be living here in the great city of Chicago and the great state of Illinois. Love my life right now, and I love being able to imbibe in legal cannabis. And listener, I hope you're able to enjoy it just as much as I am, because it really does make life a hell of a lot sweeter. So thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. If you like the show, leave a rating or review. And if you're listening on Spotify, go ahead and use that Q&A function. If you've got a question for the show or for a guest, or if you've got a suggestion for a product you'd like me to try, or a story that you're interested in hearing some more details about, go ahead and leave some notes for me. I love checking what people are saying, and some engagement with the show is always appreciated on my end. So thanks so much, listener. We'll talk again next week. Bye-bye. Cannabis Man is an original production of myself, Don Kleppen. Original theme music by Yusu Kim, aka Goodson. Other music by Pat Perez, and logo designed by Vorbroker Media. If you like the show, please rate, review, subscribe, and share whenever you can.